I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. In my heart I have but one desire, and that one is you. No other will do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim. I just want to be the one you love. And with your admission that you feel the same, I'll have reached the goal I'm dreaming of. Believe.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we are back once again for another episode of the BOOM. As always, I am your captain. I am your host for the most. I am Cam G. And of course, to the right of me, that is the man known as Phil Conn. And of course, the man at the bottom of your screen, that is the man on the ones and twos, making sure the show runs smooth. That is Metalcore Mike. Gentlemen, we are joined here once again for another AEW Dynamite talk. Of course, tonight was their holiday bash. But before I get into that, how was your Wednesday evening?
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere I go. Man, it's Wednesday. We are a week away from Christmas.
Yep.
A week away. And everywhere I go. It's funny because every Wednesday night, come on here, I talk my spiel, talk some bullshit, whatever. And it's kind of funny because y'all know I'm a delivery driver, right? And what's kind of funny is in some areas I go to, you would expect houses to be decorated, and they're not. And then some of the areas I go to, those areas throughout the years of growing up and in the area that they don't decorate too much, and they're more decorated. And I'm like, holy crap. Like the script is flipped. But we're very festive. We got our hats on. Phil, where's your hat?
I don't got a hat, honestly.
Listen, okay? You got to at least own a hat.
I don't have
I'm going to buy you a hat and have it sent to you.
If you want to send me a hat, send me a hat.
I got plenty.
I'll be happy.
I got two in my car right now that I wear when I'm at work.
I'll be happy about that. Yeah. If you want.
I got one with the company logo on it, and I got a regular one, and this is the one that's in my house.
Purple, actually.
Yours is purple?
Yeah, my company one. Yeah.
So I had a during the pandemic. I'm not going to put out where where Cam works or anything like that. I know, but I'm not going to put that out there. But one of the guys that works for the same company as you used to bring stuff over to the warehouse I worked at. And during the pandemic, he wore a face mask because I know you guys had special face masks. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And he was like, do you want one? I'm like, sure, get me one. I used to drive around my warehouse with that face mask on.
That's actually kind of funny.
Right? I'm working at a medical pharmaceutical warehouse, driving around with that face mask on. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of funny. This is kind of hilarious. But gentlemen, it's Wednesday night. We are a week away from Christmas. It's the holiday season. And I don't know about you guys, but this weather just doesn't make it feel like it.
No.
Not at all. Yeah.
Like it was 60 degrees out here today, and now it's like 32. It's 43 degrees and raining where I'm at right now. I'm like, where's the cold weather? Where's the snow? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, yesterday it was like 53, and then today it was like 37. So I don't know.
Midway through my route today, I was able to take my hoodie off and just wear a long sleeve, and I was like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then come next week, we're gonna have freezing, everything, and gonna have to wear 7 layers of clothing.
Yeah. So
Well,
I
then,
don't know.
AEW Holiday Bash tonight, gentlemen.
Yes.
indeed.
Wrestling.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, I'm going to be honest with you. I had very low expectations going into this show. The last few episodes of Dynamite have been pretty rough. But tonight they definitely exceeded my expectations, and I'm very excited. That is how you produce an AEW Dynamite. Produce more shows like that. Let's end 2024 on a high note for AEW, because that was good. Was it a perfect show? No, but the stuff I didn't like was very small compared to just huge chunks of portions of the show that I can't stand. That was a good show.
See, now there's something that they did on this show, and it was about 3 segments that I have a little bit of a gripe about. And Cam, I know you sent me the rundown earlier today on how you want to do the boom tonight.
Mhm.
And primarily, this isn't really part of what you want to do tonight, but I have a gripe, and I just need to let it out.
That's fine.
So whenever you allow me to let this gripe out, I'm going to do it.
That's fine. Like I said, and Phil, you too. I mean, like I said, if there's something that I skimmed over, because we're not really covering the entirety of Dynamite tonight, based off of this format that I've decided to go with for tonight. But if at any point I skipped over a segment or a match or whatever that you would like to discuss, by all means, I am not opposed to that at all. But let's get into it without further ado. AEW Holiday Bash. They were in Washington. Like I said, just out of the gate, visuals. That's the first thing we see. When they open up the show. Smaller arena, noticeably smaller arena, and it looked great. It looked great, like so much better.
Yes,
so much better. Like
I saw a tweet right before I came into the room here, and it worded it perfectly in terms of like the actual venue that they showed for tonight. Like they were basically saying like seating 3,000 in an arena that can seat 17 to 20,000 looks a little silly. But when you put it in an arena that's suitable for 3,000 people and you sit 3,000 people in it, it's lively, it looks great, and at the end of the day, you're getting better optics in terms of the show and what is supposed to be representing and presenting. This right here, at the end of the day, felt great in terms of the just overall look of the product, because you can actually see everybody and you can see them be lively and really get excited for what they saw on the show tonight. And at the end of the day, it just looked great in terms of what the vibe was supposed to be. This is what AEW really could be. And if they continue to do smaller arenas and areas like this, you can get more people into the building as time goes on, just based on the stories that you can tell.
Well,
this was great.
With a smaller arena like this was the thing, is we talked about them tightening things up as far as a visual. And when you set up your ticket sales for months in advance, for example, the show I went to back in June, we knew about that show for 3 months. Okay, we knew about it for a while. 10,000 seat arena. We knew we weren't going to have a lot of people in there. We had less than 3,000 people in the arena. And when you put a show on in a big arena like that, you want to try and not only have the visual of your fans, but you want to have the visual of your arena that you're in as well. And that was the hard part for them, is they tried to show an arena that was literally 3/4 of the way empty. Now, if they would have, let's say, turned off the lights in the upper half and packed everybody in and tightened things up and still had the big stages like they had, even tightening up like that and tightening up their camera angles would have helped them a lot. But the problem is they went for those long camera angles, those untightened camera angles that did not help them. Tonight was a huge help. This weekend is going to be a huge help with them going to the Hammerstein. They're doing 3 shows at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York. You know, they're doing Collision this weekend. They're doing Final Battle for Ring of Honor, and they're doing a taping for Dynamite. So, and the Hammerstein Ballroom, as we all know, I mean, you go back to 2005 when they did when WWE did a one night stand, you know, or you go and watch any ECW show from back in the 90s that they did at the Hammerstein. You know, you knew it was a great, with as many people that are in there, it's going to look great. If they would have just tightened things up with those bigger arenas to close out their bigger arena shows up until this point, then things would have looked better. Now they're getting to the point where they're going into these smaller arenas like tonight, 3,000 people, 3,000 seats. Pack it out. You're good to go. Things are tight. Everything looks great. Everything sounds great. With the exception of some spots of the show where you could tell the crowd was kind of like, yeah, let's get on to the next thing. But other than that, I mean, you tighten things up for what your visual is supposed to be. It's going to look great. It's going to sound great. And tonight was a perfect example of what they needed to do to make it sound and look great.
Absolutely. Like I said,
Yeah.
and I definitely would have to agree with you on the just the camera angles, the camera shots they do. Like I said, we've seen, you know, other shows where it was just like, what are we doing? Like we're supposed to be, you know, a professional wrestling company. Some of these shots just look awful. But hey, tonight I have no gripes with that. The visuals out of the gate just looked great. The crowd was red hot. This is the magic that I got with the earlier days of AEW, and they definitely brought that back tonight. So I have no quarrels with them doing smaller venues. Not only is it smart, but it just looks better. It looks cleaner. And it's just, like I said, it's the smart move going forward. And I think they definitely need to do more of it, you know, to close out 2024 and in the remainder of in going into 2025. Until, like I said, you know, Phil had said, produce some things that can get some eyes back on this product and get some interest back to this product. And then you can go back to bigger venues. So yeah, but no, great things, great stuff right there. I love that out of the gate for sure.
When the time comes, I don't want it to happen right away.
No. Over time,
Yeah,
over
no,
time,
like,
for sure.
Not a
Like,
build.
in due time,
Gradually, yeah.
in due time, they're gonna have to work their way back up to that. Because when you go back to and you guys know this, I don't have to say this to you guys, but I'm just saying this for, you know, any viewers that are gonna watch us live or watch us live tonight or watch any of this replay just to hear this. But like, you go back to the early days of AEW back in 2019, you know, tickets were selling out before the show, you know, months in advance, weeks in advance, all that stuff. They were selling out the arenas. Pandemic hits, you know, no crowds, they're not traveling, they're not doing any of that. And, you know, we had our state of the AEW address a couple weeks ago that we did. We got to kind of air our grievances a little bit of what we thought AEW could do moving forward, what they're doing wrong, what we think they're doing right. And this was one of the big things was you go back to those early days, they were able to play the big arenas, no problem. No problem. That, I mean, that's almost like taking, you know, a big name band and putting them in a big stadium and hoping, you know, you're rolling the dice that they sell out. You know, there's comparisons. Right now, WWE, they're a little hotter right now. Now they're testing the waters with NXT and going into big arenas. The thing is, though, is NXT, they cannot count their chickens before they hatch. Going into a big arena once in a while, that's fine. But don't do it every week. Because the NXT is gonna find themselves in the same position that AEW's in. They're gonna have to go back to Full Sail or wherever the Performance Center, wherever they're doing things, and have to backtrack. You don't want to do that. AEW, they should have started off small, these 3,000, 4,000 seat arenas, and worked their way up. Because AEW, I mean, what they did was they had the big names. They had Cody, Kenny, the Bucks, Jericho, Mox. You know, they had some big names. But you had to rely on those big names to, one, make sure they're there every week, to make sure the asses are in the seats. And once the pandemic hit and you told your wrestlers, hey, you have the choice to be here, and some of them didn't show up, and you did that moving forward, now we're going weeks. I mean, look how long it took us to see MJF on TV, even with his comeback. It took us weeks. You know, he came back at what, All In, All Out? And then took us weeks to see him on TV again. You know, if you promote him to be somewhere and he's not there, and those people are expecting him to be there, you know, fans will walk out too. Seen it happen at shows. Fans walk out because they were expecting somebody to be there and they weren't there. Off they went.
Yeah.
You know, make sure you are giving what you have advertised. And that's why I see why Tony Khan does the whole advertising on a Friday afternoon for the Wednesday show coming up. Because he wants the fans to go and buy tickets to fill the arena. Will Ospreay, one of the hottest guys right now. A lot of fans want to see him. He puts butts in seats. They should have started off with these smaller arenas and worked their way up, even with having the big names. They bit off more than they can chew. Now they're backtracking. But they're at, right now, with doing what they did tonight, going into that small arena, they did it at the perfect time. Why? Because we're in the holiday season. Things are slowing down for some people, not only us, the fans, but the superstars as well, the wrestlers. So this is a nice testing element for what they did tonight, moving forward into 2025. They probably won't get up to the big arenas until at least 2027. 2 years of doing this small arena stuff. Work your way up. Because you might not only attract the fans, but you can also attract wrestlers who are free agents. If you do, and if you play your cards right with storylining and everything you're doing. And that's what it's going to be too, is you're going to feed off the crowd that comes into your arena on what you do on your television show. If you're going to get a half-ass crowd, then you're going to give a half-ass show. You're going to feed off of that energy. So I don't think they're gonna jump into the big arena thing. I could see it for pay-per-views because they do sell out for pay-per-views. But as far as your television, they got to do this for at least 2 years. Build up. It's a start over period. So I'm sorry, Cam.
I can agree with that. I can agree with everything you said. But of course, starting off at the top of the program, we of course saw the Death Riders arrive to the arena. You know, somebody had pointed this out to me, and I think it's hilarious how everyone in the Death Riders always wears like regular clothes if they're not wrestling, and Pac is the only one wearing his ring attire every time. Like, it's so funny to me. Like, it's like he doesn't even own like regular street clothes. He just has his ring gear. That's it. Like, he's always ready to wrestle no matter what. I thought that was funny.
I think because he wrestles on Collision and Rampage, and they tape those shows, so he's always like ring ready. I think that's why.
Could be. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So he's always the only one that's dressed to wrestle. I just feel like it's funny. But the first match out of the gate, and this was surprising because I had messaged Phil about, the whole structure of the show tonight and whatnot have you. And he said to me, like, hey, I'm surprised that, this TBS championship match is the first match out of the gate. And, of course, I said to him, well, I think that's kind of, again, to double down on what we had said last week. I think that's a dead giveaway for who's ultimately going to win this match. I think they want to hurry up, get this match out of the way, because ultimately Mercedes Moné is going to retain. But the first match out of the gate was a women's match for the TBS Women's Championship. The reigning champion putting our championship on the line against none other than Anna Jay. This match, again, like I said, with the entirety of this show, was a surprisingly great match. Like, this was a good match. Honestly, it was. I think the only time you really get I don't want to say a bad match, but a match for Mercedes is when you put someone in the ring with her that's not really matching her energy. That's not really meshing well, and the chemistry is just not there. Their chemistry, Anna Jay and Mercedes Moné's chemistry, little did I know, was just perfect. I mean, it's synced up perfectly. This is a great match. The fact, like I said, once again, the fact that this was the first match out of the gate, we kind of knew Mercedes was retaining. I just said that. The first 5 minutes of this match, even the first 5 minutes of this match, I thought was fantastic. A great exchange back and forth from both of them. The first near fall was when Mercedes hit a meteor from the top rope. Anna Jay went on a flurry of her own with a series of spin kicks in the corner, then popping Mercedes up on the top rope, flinging her off onto the mat, and then hitting a gourd bomb, beautiful gourd bomb, by the way. And then, of course, Mercedes counters the Queen Slayer at one point by biting Anna Jay. And then, of course, she goes into the statement maker. And then, of course, Anna Jay was able to get out of that. And then, of course, she ended up falling victim to the moneymaker. It's so many makers, statement maker, money maker. Anyway, she falls victim to the moneymaker in the end. 1, 2, 3. Again, like I said, fantastic match. You can say whatever you want about Mercedes and AEW. You know, she's on this ego trip, she's on this money hungry trip or whatever. But when she gets in that ring, most of the time, she creates magic, and I can't hate on that. She definitely is uber talented for sure. So great match. I hope this is not a one-off. I would definitely love to see Anna Jay versus Mercedes Moné again down the line. To me, it really felt like I was going to be wrong in this situation. Just the way the energy of this match and the pacing of this match was going, and how, you know, behind. I mean, people were cheering for Mercedes Moné, people were cheering for Anna Jay. It almost felt like there was going to be that shocking shift in the championship reign, and we were going to see Anna Jay beat Mercedes Moné. So that's what it really felt like. I really felt like especially after that gory bomb, I was just like, oh my god, this could be it. Or even after the Queen Slayer was locked in, I honestly thought at any point we could have seen a 1, 2, 3, or we could have seen Mercedes take a nap and we would have had a new TBS Women's Champion. So they definitely did a great job with that and making you kind of second guess the ending or who was going to win this match. But I'm gonna get you guys' thoughts on this match: Mercedes Moné versus Anna Jay. Phil, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, so look, I messaged you about the whole situation of them starting because I was honestly genuinely shocked. I thought they would have saved this for a little bit later on in the show. But as the show kind of progressed, and like I saw the pacing of the show and how the show was going throughout the entire time that it was on, I understood why they did that. And, it really did make sense once I kind of figured out where things were going. But in terms of the actual match and the way that things went out, I was very happy with the way that things kind of turned out. Yes, Mercedes Moné retaining the AEW TBS Championship was very predictable in that sense, but Mercedes worked very well with Anna, and Anna worked very well with Mercedes, and you saw the progression of what Anna Jay has become from her early days in AEW to what she is right now. She stepped in there with Mercedes Moné and didn't miss a beat at all, and I'm very happy about that. The only problem that I have with AEW right now and the treatment of Anna Jay is kind of exactly that when it comes down to these championship matches. Now, of course, she lost both times to Mariah May, right? And then she lost tonight against Mercedes. But in terms of what Anna Jay could be for the future of this women's division, she has it. She has something. If AEW really does want to put some stuff behind her and really try to make something worth like her known, it can work because the fans are behind her and they really want to see her succeed. So ultimately, I do hope that in the future they really do see what they have in Anna Jay. But other than that, I think she did great, and Mercedes Moné did very well in this match as well. Overall, it's just a really good match to start off the show. And if AEW really does put more stars like Anna Jay in front of the two women's champions in both Mariah and Mercedes, they can tell great stories with anybody, Mercedes and Mariah, if they are willing to put into stories behind them. And I think it would just be a great way to really just make this women's division what it really can be in the year 2025. Because you look at that division on paper, and it's a really stacked division. You just got to get the stories behind them in order to make the division work in the way that it should.
Absolutely. Mike, your thoughts on this match?
I mean, this was a good match. It was a good match to kick off the night, whether it was predictable or not on who was going to win. We all knew Mercedes was going to walk out. Yeah, there were some moments of the match where we thought Anna Jay was going to win the match and walk out as the champion, but they got to give that in a title match. They have to because of the predictability. But I mean, my thoughts as far as like with the storyline in the future of the women's division in AEW, a lot of people will sit and say that AEW's women's division is like the fourth best women's division against Raw, NXT, and SmackDown and all that stuff. People will say that, but when you really look deep into this, yeah, it's a stacked women's division. It is. And it's going to all come down to what they do with the storytelling. Mercedes definitely has to get better on the microphone. That's a given. I would love to see her in 2025 get better on the microphone. As far as in ring, hold on a second. Guys, knock it off. Yell at my dogs on air. Make me lose my train of thought. They're like kids. That's what it is. They're like kids. But anyways, it's gonna come down to the storytelling. I mean, number one, she has to practice with her mic work. She's still too stuck in her ways on what she did in WWE. Why? Because she had somebody writing for her. Again, I threw it out there. You have guys like Jericho and Moxley and Bryan who came in AEW and learned really quickly that, hey, we're writing our own promos. She just can't seem to get out of that. But it's going to come down to the storytelling and what they're going to connect with this championship. Right now, I don't see Mercedes losing that belt anytime soon. I think she could be on a collision course with somebody like a Julia Hart or like oh my gosh, why can't I think of her name? Jamie Hayter. One of those two. I could see her definitely being on a collision course with one of those two come even Revolution in February. So it's going to come down to the storytelling, though.
I definitely see it. I guess I was just going to mention that. Yeah. So after the win, obviously you saw Chris Statlander in the back. So I think even before any new challengers, I think they're going to obviously run it back with Chris Statlander and Mercedes Moné one more time, which I'm fine with because they had a fantastic match as well. But yeah, no, great match to start off tonight for AEW Holiday Bash. We had an MJF promo. This is the first time, like I said, we have had him on TV, as Mike had said, for a while. I mean, we've seen him on TV, but not physically in the actual arena itself, just pretty much just, in video, like I guess video packages or at some undisclosed location or cutting some promo from wherever he's at. I don't know. But we haven't really seen him in the ring in quite some time. So yeah, but again, though, that kind of just fits his gimmick, though. I mean, he treats himself like he's the special attraction. So this particular episode, I think, called for him to actually physically be there. Especially since we're a week away, almost about a week away from World's End. So obviously he has to be there to physically hype up the match with him and Adam Cole for World's End. But no, once again, like I said, another fantastic MJF promo. So of course he says, and I quote, you don't like me, as he's coming out to obviously the reign of booze. He's like, that's why I signed up to be an AEW wrestler and not to be a part of your whack ass Washington Wizards. Which I was like, wow, that's insane. Like, hey, that's MJF though.
Crowd agreed with him. They were chanting.
They agreed.
So I mean, I don't know.
They agreed. So hey, I don't know. Hey, who knows, man? But obviously the crowd agreed with him on that. He went on to say, obviously, he's hyping up the holidays and whatnot have you. But for Hanukkah, not for Christmas, and he then states that Santa isn't real. The lump of coal that you got as a kid was obviously due to your parents not being able to afford you actual presents, which again, like I said, that is your salt of the earth MJF, obviously the current Dynamite Diamond Ring holder. Like I said, he's never short of words when it comes to insulting the AEW fans. But great stuff from him, obviously, just doing some great heel work. And then with great acting, I would, if I may, he tells us a sad, tragic story of a sad yellow boy. None other than obviously he's referring to Adam Cole, and he has this image that's been heavily altered of a very toothpick thin Adam Cole on the screen. And it was just absolutely hilarious. He has the QR code. He's wanting people to tune in to World's End to see him just put Adam Cole out of his misery. And then, of course, we got the one he's supposed to be facing at World's End. Adam Cole, of course, he wants to ensure that he's going to win the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And, of course, to make sure that no hijinks go on in that match, obviously, Mike Bennett and Taven will be there by his side. And then he says before he ends the promo, of course, he's like, there's something I'm forgetting. And then he's like, am I kicking your ass yet? And of course, he turns around, and of course, Adam Cole is right behind him. I thought that was great. I thought that was a great way to sort of blend, live action, what's happening in the ring in real time, and obviously what's on the screen, which obviously was recorded either earlier on or last week or whenever they recorded that and played it in for the front of the live audience tonight. So I thought that was great. Again, like I said, that's just that segment alone, and even just that small little tidbit they did with Adam Cole and the recording and him being behind MJF. Again, it just reminds me of some things that they would have done back then, a few years ago in the earlier days of AEW, that made segments like that special, that, got people excited to see this. Again, the only blemish with this storyline right now is, again, it's that ring. Like, I don't care. Like, the feud is not about the ring, so everything else, because I don't even think MJF in his promo even mentioned the ring. Adam Cole was the one that mentioned the ring when he popped up. So again, if it would be perfect if it's not about the ring, because it really isn't, unless, again, Cole says it or MJF says it, because during the course of this segment, you kind of forget that the ring's even on the line. You're not thinking about that, but I guess I honestly think it's gonna be a great match. This whole segment really got me excited to definitely see this match. I'm gonna get you guys' thoughts on it as well, and see if you guys think the same as me or if you guys think differently. Mike, I'm gonna get your thoughts on the segment.
I mean, this was definitely one of the best produced segments in 2024 in AEW. I mean, just the timing of it. I mean, Adam Cole recording and saying, "Am I kicking your ass yet?" And then he turns around and starts beating up on MJF. Like, literally the best timed, best produced segment probably. And it's kind of sad because it comes to the end of the year. Like, it literally took them all year, 12 months, to produce a great segment like this. But with that being said, the ring thing, like, MJF's had this thing since 2019. We ran down who he's defended against, who he's beaten to keep it. This ring shouldn't even be even talked about when it comes to their match at World's End. It shouldn't. It shouldn't even be involved. At this point, that ring is MJF's. And it shouldn't be anybody else's. Therefore, MJF should win at World's End. I'm just saying. Like, it should not be anybody else's. This all started off with these guys pretty much having a who's what is bigger than who's, becoming best friends, and then Adam Cole being revealed as the devil. Then we got away from the devil stuff. We come back 6 months later, and MJF's the babyface, and Adam Cole's the babyface, and MJF's the heel. They got to end this storyline. It's got to be done. MJF should win since it's for the ring, because it's his. And I'm ready to move on from it. I really am. Like, we've seen some pretty big storylines in professional wrestling in the past even year. And then there's some storylines that have been going on for 2 or 3 years now, bloodline storyline, everything like that. And some people are sick of it. And some people are still like, hey, I want to see what happens next. This is one of those stories of, can we just move on? Because at this point, this storyline is making no fucking sense whatsoever. They got completely away from everything that they were focused on with this storyline. So I say MJF has to win it at World's End, especially with that ring being on the line.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. Phil, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I have to say there's no doubt in my mind that MJF is winning at World's End. There's no doubt in my mind because, like you said, the ring is his. The ring has been his since 2019, and it's gonna stay his. The ring is literally attached to his character at this point, so he's just winning. But in terms of what they did here with this segment, this was incredible. This was great. Just the way it looked, the way that it was presented, it reminded me just like what you said, Cam. Stuff like what they did back in the day. in previous years in AEW. But this feud needs to end, thankfully, and thank God it will end come World's End. And I don't mean to say end so many times, but the feud is ending, so thank God. MJF, look, the thing is, when it comes down to this entire feud anyway, we all know the hurdles that it went through in order to get to where we are right now. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty details because we already know what happened with the injuries and how things happened. But this segment right here really did serve its purpose in front of the live AEW crowd. And we all know MJF is best served when he's in front of a crowd like this because he just turns it up a whole other level when he's in front of crowds and he's just doing his thing, healing it up, and just making fun of everybody that is there. He's great at that. And he's really just good at making you feel something one way or another, especially when he's there in front of a live crowd. Adam Cole, he's going to be perfectly fine in the loss. I don't see him really losing any type of momentum or detail in any kind of way with this because Adam Cole is Adam Cole, and MJF's got to take a victory here because of that ring. That ring should not be anywhere near this feud because it's not about it, like you said, Cam, but that's what they made it about now, so now we have to kind of deal with it. And, once this feud is all said and done, we can move on to do bigger and better things for the both of them because trust me, both of them do deserve bigger and better things. And we'll just see where things go from there. Now, what's up?
I was going to say, you said that like Adam Cole's not going to lose any steam. MJF's not going to lose steam. I think they both lost steam. I really do. With continuing this storyline the way it's been going, they've both lost a lot of steam. When Adam Cole got hurt and he was out for a while and MJF went away, because MJF was shooting a movie as far as I'm concerned. As far as I heard, he was shooting a movie. That's why he's been away for a while.
I think Happy Gilmore or something like that. I think
I think he's in Happy Gilmore 2. Yeah, I believe he's going to be in Happy Gilmore 2 as far as I know. I'm not completely sure of that, but I think they both lost a lot of steam with continuing this storyline. Like I said, they went off track with everything that they were trying to do after World's End last year. With MJF going away and Adam Cole getting hurt, it does not serve any purpose to continue this storyline. And then bringing the ring involved is just a stupid addition to the whole thing.
I agree.
Like they just should have completely just washed away with this storyline and cut their losses after they both went away last year.
No, we had to finish this though. We had to. It was not going to be finished by the time, just the way that they ended things off before Adam got hurt or before MJF went away. It was not a proper way to end things.
But let me ask you this, okay? And I'm sorry, I got to ask you this though. And Cam, I want to ask you this too. Okay? Did you from World's End last year, December 30th, 2023 was World's End last year out in New York. Okay?
I was there.
MJF, I was too. MJF left that night. Gone until All In this year. Okay? For these 9 months, first 9 months, have we talked about MJF? Did we think about MJF? Did we stutter any words about MJF in those 9 months before he showed up at All In? Or All Out, whenever he showed up. All Out. Did we stutter any of his words? His name come out of our mouth at all? Did Adam Cole's name come out of our mouth at all in those 9 months? So you're telling me as a fan that you're unsettled because we didn't get the end of this storyline? Because we would have never remembered this storyline if they wouldn't have brought it back up. They brought it back up. They included the ring.
Remember,
they switched gears on who's the babyface and who's the heel.
That was a mistake. That I'll agree with 100%.
It's a mistake to continue it because we didn't utter their names at all. We didn't think of them at all. Then they both showed up at the same time. Now, I guarantee, if they wouldn't even went after each other, we wouldn't even be talking about this. we wouldn't be talking about the storyline, finishing a storyline between these two. Why? Because for 9 months, we didn't think about it. We didn't talk about it. We didn't acknowledge it. Nothing. So, in my eyes, this storyline was done back when they both went away. There was to me as a fan, I would have been completely content if they wouldn't have done any type of finish to it. Because why? They finished it when they both went away. Now that's my question to you guys. If they would have never went back to it, you're telling me you would have been unsettled. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a certain word that I can't think of when something doesn't finish.
Here's the thing.
Satisfaction. You would have been, if you would have seen MJF show up at All Out and Adam Cole show up at All Out, and they weren't near each other. They did different things. You're telling me you would have been unsatisfied to the fact that they didn't finish their storyline that they didn't fucking complete 9 months earlier.
I wanted to know this. I did.
But we didn't utter their names. We didn't think of it.
Who cares? People don't forget, dude. People don't forget. Wrestling fans do not forget. And when you
Very true.
try to insult their intelligence by having something that's just incomplete and just doesn't finish whatsoever, when you literally had something in the palm of your hands, people don't forget. And I don't mean to, I'm going to calm down. I don't want to sound so.
Continue. Go. Keep going. Keep going. I want you to get worked up. I want you to. Dude, this is the part of being a passionate fan.
Yeah.
If we don't bring out the passion and bring out what we want to say, then we can't have discussions. We all have our own opinions. You're unsettled about it. Me, I can give two shits whether they finish this storyline or not. Because why? They got away from it. It was done. It wasn't even in my mind. I wouldn't even think of them as insulting my intelligence. Why? Because they got away from everything that they were doing before they both went away.
Here's the issue though. The problem is AEW does too much of this. They pick up storylines and they drop them.
The only real problem I had with this entire situation is that they flipped roles without even a notice. And
that's where they went wrong.
That is the one thing that really kind of sent me off the edge when it came down to them continuing all of this, because I was fine with them continuing this. I wanted to see an end. But then all of a sudden I saw that Adam Cole was going to be the babyface and, MJF was going to be the heel and all of this. And I'm like, how? You literally just had MJF's world turn upside down at AEW World's End when Adam Cole became the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Cole was the heel in all of this. And now, obviously, Wardlow's dead. And, the rest of the kingdom are kind of just, in a limbo right now.
Babyface is with him.
Right. But, I mean,
and a week before he came back, they were heels.
Right. So, they did this whole entire thing ass backwards, but I wanted to see it and I'm glad we're getting it. But with the ring involved and just the way of the flipping roles, it just turned into this whole goddamn mess. And I'm like, you ruined what was honestly a really cool looking thing with the whole devil, and you just kind of turned it into what it turned into.
Which means they ruined a storyline that they clearly do not need to finish. Wipe it away. Get rid of it. Because again, nobody thought of it. Nobody. And I'm not talking about just us here on this show. I'm talking about social media. I'm talking about people on the internet. I'm talking about people that do other wrestling podcasts and talk shows and everything. Adam Cole and MJF's names were not uttered at all. The storyline was not brought up at all in those 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, whenever it may be.
No, I agree.
And then they come back and they switch roles, bring a ring involved, and it's stupid. Why? That's why me as a fan, them continuing this, they're not giving me any satisfactory of finishing this whatsoever. Why? Because they completely flipped everything. They completely got away from everything they were doing. That's just like saying, okay, let's go over to SmackDown And we're going to stop the bloodline storyline for 6 months, okay? But we're going to pick things up with, okay, Roman's the babyface right now. But in 6 months, when we bring everything back, he's going to be the heel. Solo's going to be the babyface. And we're going to try and pick up where we left off. But we're going to have additions to this, okay? Sami Zayn is now going to be with Solo. And CM Punk is going to back Solo while the other guys come over and back Roman. What kind of sense would that make? None. And where did it come from? We don't get an explanation. We didn't even get an explanation on why they flipped scripts. We don't even have an explanation on why the ring's involved. So what is the satisfaction of them even doing this match and ending this storyline? Again, this is the great thing about having our own opinions as fans, because we can have discussions like this, and I say it all the time. And we're not arguing, we're not griping about it, we're having a great conversation about it. At the end of the day, you're going to be satisfied, and I can give two shits. And that's
I'm satisfied once this is over, because both of them can go on and do whatever else they need to do.
And when they came back, they could have gone on and did anything they wanted to, because they didn't need to be near each other.
It's true too, but I mean, they messed up. They just messed up royally, and I hope they know that.
I'm sorry, Cam. We took over. I apologize.
From that, we got a Kenny Omega return hype video. Desperately need Kenny Omega back, I would say. Once again, I think that man is literally the heart and soul of AEW.
I'm so Kenny.
And I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see Kenny Omega come back. So I'm curious to see where they place him at when he comes back. Hopefully they give him something of importance and they don't just, drop him in some feud with Beast Mortos or some crap like that.
And AEW does need you, Kenny.
Yes. Yes. The comments of AEW doesn't need him is wild to me.
I do have one thing I want to say about Kenny Omega, and I'm going to be quick about it. A couple weeks ago when we did the AEW address show, I mentioned that if AEW would have transitioned while keeping the old stuff going, would have probably been better for them. They can, with Kenny Omega returning, the Bucks are gone. If you bring back the original, and I'm talking the original, like Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, the fucking the Elite. Okay, bring back the original. They can pick up by bringing back the original Elite and picking up and starting over with old stuff and trying to bring some people back, because a lot of people left AEW as fans, and a lot of it is because of that core, like Elite, Cody leaving, and everything like that. If they would start things off with Kenny and the Bucks coming back at the same time, being the Elite, I think they could bring some more fans back and bring some fans in. And a lot of attention can grow towards AEW in 2025 with his return.
I agree with you. Only thing I just would not want them to do right away is be the thing that, kills the Death Riders, so to speak, or those guys. Because look, this entire storyline for that part was to get these younger guys up there and just get them back on track and everything like that. If you just did the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega to vanquish what the Death Riders are, then I think it kind of just defeats the entire purpose of what Moxley's been trying to do. But overall, I do agree that Kenny and the Bucks coming back together would be a great thing.
To respond to Banks in the chat, how could you do that after the Elite attacked him though? It's wrestling. We've seen it before where heels turn on members of factions, and then months, if not years later, they reconcile or whatever, and they get back together.
And you could do the
it's really not hard to do.
You could do the reconciliation on TV. You could put Kenny Omega in a position to where the Death Riders are, attacking him or whatever. The Bucks come out, help him, whatever. Because when the Bucks left, like we seen them, thinking, should we help the baby faces out or not? And they never did. This could be the position to where the Bucks come back and help Kenny Omega in that position and reunite them. It's an easy fix. Easy fix.
Yeah, you can do
the Bucks can go from questioning whether they want to do it, to now we're doing it. You're attacking our friend that we know we messed up attacking and doing what we did to him.
I mean, well, like I said, realistically,
Make it mean something.
you've kind of already teased a face turn from the Bucks anyways. That's kind of a part of the reason why they're gone anyways, because of the whole, Death Riders kind of running roughshod over AEW and the AEW roster right now. So when they come back, we're headed for, the Bucks to probably return to form and be the be the Bucks of old.
Yep.
And of course, they're going to need some heavy firepower if they're going to want to regain control of AEW and take out the Death Riders. Of course, they're going to look to Kenny Omega. Of course, they're going to look to Hangman Adam Page. Come on now. So obviously, I think that's your explanation right there. We could sit here and battle it out, to the death or whatever, but we're on obviously stronger together as the elite to take out the Death Riders. That's your explanation right there.
See, but Banks, with Kenny saving the Bucks, you got to remember, Kenny was the one that got attacked. What would give him the reason to save the Bucks? Now, if the Bucks were to save Kenny, then it would be the Bucks trying to apologize to Kenny. They can do like a couple weeks to where the Bucks are trying to apologize to Kenny by helping him out in certain situations, all that stuff. And then it can get to the part where they get to like Revolution, or even roll it out till Double or Nothing, to where it becomes a 6-man tag match, and the Bucks finally gain Kenny's trust and they end up teaming up. Kenny saving the Bucks right now wouldn't make any sense because of the Bucks attacking.
I mean, it's like I said, it's basically kind of like, you can use the example of, the Bloodline storyline in WWE. When they're trying to get Jey Uso back on their side, and Jey was just not with it at all. It's the same thing. They could try to get the Bucks can try to get Kenny back on their side, and Kenny is just like, I don't want any part of this. Yep. You guys turned on me. I didn't turn on you. And like I said, them coming out and saving him from the Death Riders could be that show of trust, like, hey, we got your back.
You guys turned on me, and you brought Okada into this whole entire mix, and you got Jack Perry over here as well. Why would I ever want to try to join you guys again after all of this time? Then all of a sudden, you get the Bucks trying to save Kenny. You try to earn that trust again, and then before we know it, we can have the Elite all in full force again. You can visit that whole Okada and Kenny Omega thing as you continue to go along with this, because obviously that would just be a match that people would want to see in AEW. But you do the slow progression to get them back on track, get them together, and you can do stuff with the Death Riders.
And oh, sorry, I didn't know you were done.
No, you're good. Yep.
I was gonna say, if you need a fourth, because there's Pac, Claudio, Mox, and Yuta. If you need a fourth, there's one person that would be the oddball out that you probably wouldn't expect, but at the same time would expect, and that is Will Ospreay. Has a bunch of respect for Kenny Omega. Why would he not help Kenny Omega in any situation? They have a history. They respect each other. We've seen that play out on TV for the respect factor. Ospreay can be that easy plug-in to come and help and may be the fourth man.
Could be. I mean, that makes sense to me. But before we get into obviously some C2 action, we had a segment with obviously Ricochet and the Hurt Syndicate. Apparently, during the course of this segment, the Hurt Syndicate seemingly looked like, to me, rejected Ricochet as they rip up his business card. Or maybe he was accepted. I don't know. Because MJF had said on commentary during the course of the Shelton Benjamin match versus the Beast Mortos, which we will get into here in a second, that he doesn't want to kiss ass. He wants someone to go out there and hurt somebody, and then they will be impressed. So I'm still holding out hope that he will eventually be added to this group, but he has to prove himself to the Hurt Syndicate, not just trying to be teacher's pet to MJF to MJF to MVP. So I don't know. I don't know what this means for Ricochet. I don't know if he's been rejected, accepted. I have no idea, but it was an interesting segment to say the least. So who knows?
You remember when I said I had a gripe?
This was it.
This is it. This is where I have my gripe. Do you mind?
What?
Okay. You brought Ricochet in to be a fan favorite, to make a splash and all this stuff. And for the past couple weeks, months that he's been there, he's been doing it 50-50. It's been, doing some cool shit, but at the same time, it's been kind of like, what are they doing with Ricochet? You're setting him out to be a part of this group, this badass group, as we know as, the Hurt Syndicate, the Hurt Locker, the Hurt Business, whatever you want to call it, Hurt Syndicate and AEW, right? Gets handed a business card when they first come in, gets the offer. Now they put him in a position to where he's kissing ass to MVP and Bobby Lashley and all that. Why were they treating Ricochet and having Ricochet look like a young boy tonight? I didn't like it. I didn't at all. You watch any interaction that Ricochet had whatsoever with anybody tonight that he was on the screen, he was acting like a young boy, acting like this was his first week in professional wrestling. It was ridiculous. It was disgusting to see. I didn't like it. This literally, if this was the doing of Tony Khan and having him act like this, then Tony Khan, you need to stop and not have him do this, because it was ridiculous. This is how you hurt your stars. And Ricochet could very easily be a star in this company. I know we've talked about him for weeks upon end of saying he needs to do something different because he does a lot of stuff that we see in AEW. Tonight, you made a complete freaking mockery of him. And I didn't like it. I didn't. It was hard to watch. And things in wrestling are not hard for me to watch. I've seen almost everything in professional wrestling. I've been a fan for what am I, 38? I've been a fan for almost 35 years. I've seen almost everything, if not everything. And tonight, seeing that was disgusting. I felt like they degraded Ricochet. So if this was Tony Khan's doing, Tony, stop. Stop. Because you are going to lose them.
I don't know. I'm not sure where they're going with it. Honestly, I really don't. But we will definitely see.
Yeah.
I really don't care to see a Ricochet feud with Hurt Syndicate. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I really don't. Him added to this group would be better.
It was embarrassing.
He was like Cedric Alexander was in WWE with them.
Maybe that's his role. I don't know.
But it's going to hurt him. It's going to hurt him.
He is the Alexander of this. That's exactly what they're going.
Please don't say that.
That's exactly what they're going for. You take a look at what they did with him tonight. They completely freaking embarrassed the man. They embarrassed the man. They completely just made him look like a goddamn idiot. And at the end of the day, they are putting him in a position to where he is just cringeworthy beyond belief. And this just does not fit him at all. It doesn't. It doesn't. Would I like to see him a part of something new and fresh and actually, do something like have some more kind of character to him? Yes, 100%. I want that for him. But this right here is not it. That laugh that he continues to do each and every single time when he meets up with somebody, that is cringeworthy beyond belief. It's nothing good for him. And people are just turning on him left, right, and center. This is not good for him. And right now, AEW is just treating him like some sort of joke.
A young boy.
Yes, they're treating him like a young boy. And now it's just...
If you would have stood him next to Nick Wayne tonight, I would have thought Nick Wayne was the veteran.
It's embarrassing.
Jesus Christ.
Embarrassing.
Wow. I would have thought Nick Wayne was the veteran if you would have stood him next to Nick Wayne tonight.
It's just embarrassing. That right there just shows you what they are thinking of him right now, and it's not a good look for Ricochet.
I don't know. I guess I'm the one hopeful one, I guess. I don't know.
Yet AEW can't exist with apparently.
There is hope for Ricochet to be in this group. There is. But to have him be the way he was tonight is not the way to go about it. It is not. There is a difference between the Hurt Business in WWE and the Hurt Syndicate in AEW. AEW, we all know that they have a little more freedom. Use that freedom to your advantage and make him look as strong as the other guys in the group. Don't make him be like the young boy of the group that's going to be the lackey, that's going to take all the bumps and be the one that gets slapped around when shit's going bad. Don't do that. Make him as strong as the other guys in the group. And that's where they went wrong with Cedric in WWE. Cedric could have had a great run in the Hurt Locker in WWE. But what did they do? They treated him like a young boy. They put a tag team title on him and had him part of the group, but pushed him kind of to the side. Like, don't do that. You have the key opportunity to make him look strong after looking weak coming into AEW.
No, he definitely looked strong.
Let me rephrase that. Not having the best start coming into AEW because having him, and I wanted to rephrase that, okay? Not having the best start coming into AEW because you pushed the stuff with Will Ospreay too quick, and now you backed yourself in a corner of what to do with him because you went to that well too quick. Do not make him look weak. And tonight, he looked weak. And it was disgusting.
And I'll tell you this right now. I know we haven't gotten there yet, but if you kind of want to just kind of group this in together because we're just still talking about Ricochet here, that interaction that he had with Swerve tonight,
ridiculous.
Give me a break. Give me a break. You again, he looks like a goddamn joke out there. And
I would have taken Prince Nana more seriously than him in that segment.
And all he did was come into frame and say, Swerve's house.
Exactly.
I like Ricochet, don't get me wrong, but this is not it. And he needs to do something better. If you want to get back on the good side and the good graces of the Hurt Syndicate, win on Saturday.
We have 2 weeks. 2 weeks for them to clean this up before they go live again because next week's Dynamite is taped. It's taped on, I think they're taping it on Sunday or whatever in the Hammerstein. Okay? Do not have him on TV. Do not have him in that taping. Do not do anything until you get back to live. Clean this up. And clean it up quick.
I don't know. I guess I'm the one hopeful one because I guess I'm looking at the long game here. I think so. I mean, it might not have been the best image. Okay, I can see that, but I could see this being his motivation to be like, okay, I need to take a different approach to be able to be accepted into this group. So now what he needs to do next is like I said, this is his transformation period into not the typical high flying Ricochet that we've seen. Whatever the next match he has, he needs to absolutely destroy his opponent.
It's Saturday.
Absolutely.
It's Saturday and it's against Will Ospreay. So I mean, come on.
He needs to absolutely take Will Ospreay out.
What I just
during the match, after the match, yes.
I agree with that.
Transformation.
I agree with that. Attack Ospreay right after the match. Make him look strong. It's almost like they took what they were doing with what's his name with Christian and everything and flopped it into this storyline. You know who I'm talking about. I can't remember his name. Who was trying to get into the group with Christian? Trying to stop him from cashing his contract. I'm trying to think of his name.
Not Jay White.
Group with Christian? Oh, wait. Wasn't that Kip?
Kip Sabian.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like they took what they were trying to do with Kip and they're doing it with Ricochet now. Because Kip looked like a fool doing that stuff. And we know Kip is a strong wrestler. And we know Kip can do storylines. It's almost like they took that and said, you know what? We're going to scratch this because I think we got something better. We could do it with Ricochet. Made a complete fucking joke of it.
Yeah, I like Kip Sabian. I've always liked his potential, but I don't like what he's doing right now.
Nice guy in person, too. Nice guy in person. I'll say that.
Oh, yeah, based off the story you told me, he seems like a great guy.
Super nice.
I'm not a fan of what he's doing right now on TV. Not at all. But anyway, getting into the C2, obviously bridging from this segment, immediately after this, like obviously was the C2 tournament. Obviously was Shelton Benjamin versus the Beast Mortos. Like I said, obviously Shelton Benjamin showing off his athleticism and strength, tossing around the Beast Mortos. We don't typically see that. Beast Mortos basically responded with trying to attack the surgically repaired knee recently of Shelton Benjamin. Like I said, this was a great match. Obviously, I was heavily rooting for Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin could not lose to the Beast Mortos. I would have had a major problem with that. But like I said, Shelton Benjamin looked absolutely amazing in this. I think he broke out a new finishing move that MVP called the Hurt Fall, I believe, for the 1-2-3, picking up 3 points in the C2. So great match, obviously great win for Shelton Benjamin, much needed, I would say, to stay in it for this particular tournament. Mike, I'm gonna get your thoughts on this match.
I mean, this was a good match. The one thing that I see happening is Beast Mortos having a goose egg through this whole thing. I don't see him picking up a win anywhere. I don't. No. Why have him? I get it. You got to have your guy that's going to take and eat L's throughout a whole tournament, but have him win at least one match. Like, get some points on the board for the guy. He's gonna have a goose egg at the end of this thing, and then right afterwards, I mean, basically, you look at it. You have MVP and Bobby Lashley bullying Ricochet, and you have MVP coming in and telling Shelton Benjamin, like, hey, continue what you were doing in the match. Now. Attack him. Like, okay, you're trying to bully Ricochet. Now you're bullying Shelton Benjamin. Like, this turned real quick from something that could be cool. That's why I'm saying keep this off TV till you go live in 2025. Get away from this for 2 weeks, clean this up, and come back strong. Because right now they are on a bad wave with this storyline. They are.
I don't know. I mean, I have to disagree with that. I mean, like I said, every time they come out, the crowd is into it. They don't know whether to boo them or to cheer them. They're confused at what point. I would agree with you if they were getting no reaction from the crowd, but everywhere they go, they get a reaction from the crowd. So they're red hot right now. They're massively over. And like I said, MVP right now, I feel like he's doing what he's not really doing anything different than what he did in WWE. But the main difference is he's more ruthless. He's like the freaking, I don't know, freaking ringmaster almost of this group. That's his role, is just to tell them to be more ruthless. That's the whole point of it.
But them in WWE, like, Shelton had a lot more respect in the group than he does now. Like, just after tonight. And I know bullying and ordering around are two different things. I understand, Banks. I know it is. But, like, it just seemed like Shelton Benjamin had so much more respect in the group than he does now. And he lost matches in WWE. It happened. What is different now than then?
Creative freedom.
And I get that. Okay, but
freedom.
Like, it just,
like I said, they're going to take you might as well strap in, because they're going to take you on a roller coaster ride, and a lot of what you see from this group is probably, I hate to say that, but like may not make sense to you as opposed to if you compare to what they're doing now as what they did in WWE, because they have that creative freedom. So they are free to take this wherever they want to take it. So
it's not so much that I'm having trouble with, like, the whole comparison of what they did in WWE to AEW. It's just the fact of Shelton Benjamin had so much more respect. Even in losses, there was the respect. And I get the creative freedom and everything now. I get that. I do. But it's a complete 360, I guess. Like, if you understand where I'm coming from, it's a complete 360.
No, I understand.
It's a whole different product. I mean, WWE, what they were doing in WWE was tailored to that PG product. It was. Now, with the creative freedom, and with what AEW is kind of abiding by with the whole, and I know TV ratings don't really mean anything, but with them being TV 14 and them having the luxury of doing, more freedom and, getting things to a certain degree that we don't normally get to see on a regular basis, they're going to have that kind of luxury to do whatever they need to do in order to make this work. Now, yes, I do agree with you in the sense that Shelton Benjamin, he did have a little bit more of a respect type of factor when it came down to the Hurt Business instead of the Hurt Syndicate. But with this Hurt Syndicate now, he is getting more aggressive, and he is getting to that stage to where we really haven't seen this kind of Shelton Benjamin in a little while. And I like this side of Shelton Benjamin to where he is aggressive and to where he is actually getting to where he needs to be in order to be that kind of killer that MVP wants him to be. So, push him around a little bit, get him more aggressive, allow him to be that kind of Shelton Benjamin again. And then when the Hurt Syndicate are at that kind of level now to where they're taking over at AEW, it's going to take a strong group to be able to stop them. So you got to figure it out. And hopefully, I feel like that. I would hope that that's what they're going to try to do with Ricochet, like you said, Cam. But I mean, I don't want to get back into the whole Ricochet train, but like, hopefully that is what they're trying to go for with him, and we'll see where it goes.
I don't know. I'm holding on. I'm riding off of a high after tonight's show. That's really what it is. Until they ultimately bring me back down to earth, and I lose hope again.
The Hurt Syndicate. I did. It's just the way that they did with Ricochet. It's just bad. Like,
and I'm not completely disagreeing. I'm thinking about the ideas of what they can do, and I hope they execute it the way I'm thinking of it. Because if he loses to Ospreay come Saturday, then I totally agree with both of you. They made him look like a fool both nights, tonight and Saturday.
Right now, they're both tied at 6 points. So whoever wins this, or if they do a time limit draw, which could be a possibility with this whole entire thing.
I hope not.
I hope not either. But if they do a time limit draw, they'll both get 1 point for 7, and if one of them wins, they'll get to 9. Whoever wins. So I mean, it's a huge thing with this. But I do want to kind of give my thoughts on this whole thing with Shelton and this whole Continental Classic. The Blue League is kind of in a mess right now. If you take a look at like the actual updated bracket and like the point system and all that, it's kind of in a mess right now. You got like it goes Okada 7, Fletcher 9, Daniel Garcia 4, Briscoe 6, Benjamin 6, and Mortos 0. Mortos is getting a loss again. He'll lose. He will. That's a given. So Mortos is losing every single match in this. And like you said, Mike, you got to have at least some people in this tournament to take the falls and to really get the people that you want to see in the upper echelon, get the points that you need to get. But Mortos getting 0 is just kind of disrespectful in my eyes to him, because he honestly has been showing up each and every single time, and he's been maximizing his minutes every single time he's gotten out there. He's just taking the loss every single time. But Shelton Benjamin needed this win, and I'm glad he did, because now he's honestly really kind of in the thick of things with this Blue League tournament, and he's tied for 3rd place in this entire ordeal. So good for him.
Yeah, to me, I think the Gold League for me is a little bit more exciting. Like I said, you got Ospreay, Claudio, and Ricochet, and now Darby, pretty much all in a 4-way tie with 6 points.
All 6 points, yeah.
So that to me, I think the Gold League for me is a little bit more exciting. I would love for Shelton Benjamin to come out of the Blue League, and win that. I just think he's the most impressive, I think, in the Blue League right now. Aside from Fletcher. Fletcher's on a roll right now.
Commander's in the Mortos role in the Gold League.
Yeah, Commander's eating. He's eating the pins. No, Commander's not beating anybody in the Gold League because it's not going to happen. So yeah, so you have Beast Mortos and Commander at the bottom of their respective leagues. They're just there to eat the pins, just so the bigger name stars in these respective leagues get the points essentially. But the Gold League for me is a little bit more exciting. And that's just that. The next C2 match we had obviously was Will Ospreay versus Darby Allin. What a match! This was honestly, I think, the match that has definitely got me intrigued going forward for the C2. Very good, very good match. This felt like a pay-per-view match. Just the energy from the crowd, not knowing what to expect, and I think that's what keeps them on the edge of their seat because they don't know what they're going to see from these two. And this was the first match, first time meeting between the two of them, as far as I know, since Will Ospreay's been in the company and since Darby's been there. Darby's been there since the doors opened. And this is a match I didn't know I needed. And I'll say this right now, and this might be even controversial. This match was better than the Dream match they were hyping up for Will Ospreay and Ricochet.
Yeah.
Much better. Like,
Great.
I honestly think the Will Ospreay and Ricochet match kind of underperformed just under the heavy pressure of the anticipation of this Dream match. They hyped it up too much. Just let it happen naturally. You hyped it up too much. It just got buried under its own hype, and it was a good match, but it really did not live up to the hype that you built it up to. This match had no hype really. It's just a C2 match, and it was fantastic, honestly. So
Didn't they do they did Ospreay and Ricochet at that show out in New York in September, didn't they? At Arthur Ashe? That's when that happened,
I
right?
believe so. Yeah.
And I think if that's where I believe that match happened, you got to think that night you had Bryan Danielson taking on Nigel McGuinness, which I think completely overshadowed that.
Osprey,
Which a lot of people looked forward to McGuinness and Bryan. So I think Ricochet and Ospreay also took that overshadowing, and I think that's why that momentum got taken. But I agree with you. This was a pay-per-view style match. This match was a great match between these two. AEW, when they do their televised stuff, and we all notice, sometimes they try and turn their TV into pay-per-view style stuff. And that's another thing where I think they can go wrong with things, is trying to turn everything into a pay-per-view style. If you have one match on the show that's a pay-per-view style match, that's fine. That can meet your limit. You don't have to try and make every match a pay-per-view style match. I understand you got a lot of stars in your company. You want to try and have these matches and try and progress things through matches. Like, for example, Anna Jay and Mercedes. Great match, could be a pay-per-view style match, but don't build it up like that on your TV. You're going to have this match in the future on pay-per-view. That's fine. But then you got to tell them, like, hey, don't give everything. Just give a little nibble, because we want to put you guys on pay-per-view where people are going to have to pay for your best. Not saying they don't give their best in the ring every night, but I'm saying, like, Ricochet and Ospreay, they can go on regular TV, but don't make that the only time they meet, and try and have them kind of bring things back a little bit so they don't give us everything. If they give us everything and then we see a month or two later they're going to be on pay-per-view, we know what we're getting already. Tonight, Darby and Ospreay gave us a pay-per-view style match, which was fine. It was the one match that was pay-per-view style because of how great it was. Not taking away what everybody else did in the ring again. That's what I want to clear up. Not taking away anything that anybody else did. But this was that one match, and you could do it at least one time on your TV, because we see it everywhere. We see that one pay-per-view style match on TV. The AEW tonight, again, like you said, Cam, tonight was how they structured the show. It was like you looked at how the show was made, and it was like, not too many expectations. And then when you watch the show, it was like, holy crap, this was actually a really good show. They met all expectations and then some. Are they going to do this every night? No. They're not going to hit a home run every night. They're not going to even hit a triple or a double every night. But if they can at least get on base each week, they'll be fine. And tonight, if they can ride off of what they did tonight and move forward, they're going to be fine. They're going to be completely fine. But the other thing, too, is having Darby win. Crazy. That blew my freaking mind.
I loved it.
Yes.
What I love right now, and I think Will Ospreay's on a losing streak right now. This is where, again, this takes me back to with talking about Kenny and the Bucks. Okay, Ospreay can continue eating these L's, and then if you have Kenny and the Bucks do what we were talking about earlier, this could be a good boost for Will Ospreay. Boost up the Elite coming back, boost up Ospreay all in one, and give us that one big bang. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
But no, I thought this match was absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh, the freaking code red counter from Will Ospreay, flipping him around, hitting a hidden blade. That was absolutely just insane. Like that was wild. So no, this match was amazing. It was honestly it was amazing. It exceeded my expectations because, like I said, again, the first time meeting between these two, I had no idea what to expect. And like I said, Darby, and even a callback to his former tag team partner Sting, hitting a Scorpion Death Drop and then hitting not one but two coffin drops for the 1-2-3, picking up the 3 points, and now, like I said, in a 4-way tie in the Gold League. And like I said, and quite frankly, I was actually rooting for Darby because I was like, I think Darby absolutely needs this. Absolutely, like C2 aside, I think he needs this. It's just like, well, again, Will Ospreay's Will Ospreay. He's amazing. He'll be fine. So.
I have a quick question for you guys, and I kind of made this comment earlier tonight. I was watching Dynamite with Scals and Mike and Will for a little bit. Will was watching for a little bit, then he had to leave. But there was a couple of us watching Dynamite tonight, as we do every Wednesday night. And we were talking about Darby Allin, losing his shot at the AEW World Title because they wanted to get Moxley involved and everything like that. And I said that this is kind of their consolation to him. Like, don't be surprised if he wins this tournament because they kind of took away the world title from him. They swept it out from underneath him. After going into the match, like he was in the cage match, and then later on that night at the taping, he won a battle royal to become number one contender for the world title. Lost that number one contendership to Mox. This is almost like consolation to him. Like, win this tournament, win that title. It's almost like they're saying, you know what, Darby, you're ready for the world title, but we're not ready for you to run with it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put you in this tournament. You're going to run the gamut, run the gauntlet, whatever you want to call it. Hold this belt for a while. We got world title aspirations for you, but we need you to do this because your TNT title reigns, let's face it, they weren't that great. But with this title, you're going against these great competitors through this big tournament, and you're an underdog going through this tournament because of your size. Let's have you win this title, and then let's show some, because it's going to come down to him and Okada. Like, if him and Okada at one point have to face for this title, it has to happen. Am I right on that, or am I wrong?
I mean, I would say so.
If it goes down that way, yes.
Could you at least see it? Because right now, as you look at the tournament bracket, things kind of lead to Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. If you were to determine, like if you were to predict, it could come down to those two.
My final four right now for this tournament, which is going to be the matches that are happening at World's End, my final four consist of Darby, Will, Kyle Fletcher, and Okada. So those four, indeed.
They're kind of hitting us with the unexpectations, because last year, did you expect Eddie Kingston to beat Moxley? No. You thought Moxley had it. Everybody thought Moxley was winning. We go back to when we did our predictions, and a lot of people picked Moxley over Kingston. Kingston won unexpectedly. Darby Allin is that unexpected underdog in this tournament. He's going to win it. And I'm calling it now.
I mean, hey, you would be somebody who can foresee the future, and definitely if he definitely wins the tournament. So
nothing's over until you're underground.
We'll definitely have to see. But no, like I said, fantastic match. I felt like this should have been the main event. Honestly, how good
I agree with that. I highly.
Whoever follows this, I feel bad for you.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Because, man, this was just tremendous in every way. And like you, Cam, I thought that Darby needed this win. You know, I just looked up Will Ospreay's last few matches in the company right now, and in his last, well, throughout this entire tournament, he's 2-1, right? Because he lost tonight, obviously, but he beat Juice Robinson in the first matchup of the tournament, because Juice was in the tournament before Commander was, before Juice got hurt, and then he beat Claudio. So he's 2-1 in the last 3.
But non-tournament matches. Okay, you go back to the past 3 months. He's lost to Kyle Fletcher.
Yep.
He lost the international championship.
Yep.
You know, he's been on a losing streak outside of this tournament.
No contest with Ricochet on the 5th anniversary show, so that really doesn't count as a win or loss or anything. Lost to the Young Bucks from Don Callis family against the World Tag Team the World Titles at Arthur Ashe.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, he's been losing.
He's on a losing streak outside of this tournament. It would be a good pick-me-up for him to possibly help out the Elite when it comes time, if that comes time. I want to say if. I don't want to say when.
Yeah, if, because we have no idea.
Exactly.
The Gold League now is literally when. The Blue League is more of a cluster, but Gold League. Oh.
It's so funny because when he said clusterfuck, it edited it out.
Are we good now?
You keep cutting in and out, and it kind of edited it out when you said cluster.
It like edited itself out.
Oh, no.
It's like I don't even have to hit a button.
Thanks. Golden League is anybody's tournament to win. Blue League, there's more things that need to be had in order for an actual winner to be crowned, but we'll see where things go from there. Because it's okay, Mike, I get it, okay? And then
what? I'm not doing that.
We'll move on. I'll try to figure out my internet.
But yes, from there, we are now at the main event, gentlemen. The main event, of course, was a 6-man tag match with Jay White, Adam Page, and of course Orange Cassidy taking on the Death Riders, Mox, Yuta, and Pac. Like I said, once again, I feel bad for these 6 men because they had to follow such a fantastic match with Ospreay and Darby Allin. This was an okay match for what it was. Obviously, you know, a lot of this is hyping up the Fatal 4-Way match for the world title at World's End. I think the most notable thing that really happened, the 2 most notable things that really happened, is the fact that, you know, Hangman Adam Page at one point in this match walked out. He eventually did come back. And then the ending to this match I really did not like. You know, they basically have the match won until, you know, Hangman Adam Page and Jay White, you know, start arguing in the middle of the ring, and then Moxley kind of just slithers in there and rolls up Cassidy like it's no big deal. 1, 2, 3. I didn't really like that ending, but other than that, it was a decent match for what it was. Of course, chaos ensues after that. You know, there was a brawl. I loved the post match where, you know, they circled the ring like, you know, kind of like shades of the old Shield. Like I said, you know, in all chaos ensues after that, and we close out the show from there. But just the ending of that match, I really did not like. Other than that, though, it was a solid match. And like I said, they had a tall task to try to follow Ospreay and Darby. I keep saying that, but it definitely was a tall task. Why don't I get you guys' thoughts on this main event match? Phil, I'm gonna start with you.
Match is good, and I personally love the finish. I did, because, you know, with we saw Hangman leave, and, you know, the whole "can they coexist" storyline struck again with this whole entire situation. I don't like that story. I never did. I've never liked it, whether it's AEW, WWE, TNA. The "can they coexist" stuff is just, you know, paint by number BS. But
yeah,
you know, when Heyman came back, I was like, okay, this could get interesting now, because now with Hangman leaving, it kind of just proved Moxley's point right then and there. All egos, no pun intended with Ethan Page. All the egos right now are just kind of, going at it right now, and they're proving Moxley right in a sense. But then Hangman came back, and it looked like, we could have seen a book shot with Orange Cassidy, but he hit a Death Rider instead. So you saw that kind of ordeal. And then you just sneak on in there, pin Orange Cassidy 1, 2, 3 when Hangman and Jay White are just arguing back and forth at each other. Again, getting Moxley's point proven right each and every single time because they're so busy, arguing with each other, they can't even look at their own tag team partner and try to figure out what the hell is going on. So it works in that kind of sense, and Moxley's just being proven right each and every single time. And now they just have to kind of fight from behind in order to try to get that AEW World Title away from Mox. It's not going to work because Moxley's most likely retaining anyway, and you got to figure out where things go. But I like the ending, and I definitely like that post match where they kind of surrounded the ring like the old Shield, and they did their thing. So overall, I liked what they did here, and it really did just kind of prove Moxley right in this sense. So good stuff in my eyes.
Mike, your thoughts?
I know I said this a couple weeks ago, and I said it last week and everything like that. I don't think Moxley is the heel in this situation. The hidden heel in this situation is Hangman Adam Page. This whole situation. We seen the whole thing with the whole Shield situation. That was cool. I said the same thing. I thought that was a cool little thing to do at the end there. Orange Cassidy, at the end of the day, I think is going to eat the L. He's going to end up eating the pin at World's End. Hangman and Jay White are going to do their own thing during that match. Moxley, this whole, I don't know. I'm lost on this. I am. I really am. You guys pretty much said everything. And I'm just saying that I don't think Moxley's the heel in this situation. And I stand with that. And yeah.
That's fair, you feel how you feel. But that's, gentlemen, that's all I got for you for AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash. We were going to get into some World's End stuff, but we will save that for a very special show that we're still putting together for next week. We'll talk about obviously World's End. But Friday is Ring of Honor Final Battle, which I am currently looking at the card right now. So we will give our quick thoughts and rundown, I guess, essentially predictions for Ring of Honor Final Battle. So the first match that we will give our predictions on, what I'm looking at, just in order from how it is, how I'm looking at it right now, is Red Velvet, who apparently is the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion, and she is taking on Layla Hirsch, who I didn't even know was still with the company, to be completely honest with you. But who do we have winning this match? Mike, I'm sorry with you.
I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna go on record with saying this. As far as it comes to Ring of Honor, the bad part about them is you don't get television from them unless they're on AEW television, which sucks. You have to be a part of the Honor Club. I'm not a part of the Honor Club. Don't get to see weekly Ring of Honor or anything like that. I'm gonna say it. Layla Hirsch is gonna retain the title. One thing I'll say about this show, first off, is I heard an interview earlier today, and then I found out some information that the old owner of Ring of Honor wasn't even invited to this show, wasn't given a ticket, nothing like that. Then I heard that there was some issues going on with him, whatever. I understand that. But this is a Ring of Honor show. And there's a lot of stuff that AEW could have added into this show to give it more of a Ring of Honor feel. And I'm sure they're probably going to do that. They're probably going to do that with this show on Friday. They're going to give you a little bit of Ring of Honor feel, but it's going to have the AEW touch on it. But I say Red Velvet retains the championship and continues her reign with the Ring of Honor Women's World's television title. She's been champion. Says she won the title back on July 26th of 2024. So she's been champion for a while. I could see her retaining and continuing her reign.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take Red Velvet here. That is quite a lengthy reign. So yeah, I really don't see her dropping here. Phil, who you got? Layla Hirsch or Red Velvet?
I got Red Velvet. I got Red. Like you, Mike, I don't watch Ring of Honor. It's not that I don't want to support it or whatever. I just don't have Honor Club. I don't. But
I
Red
don't
Velvet.
know anybody that does, honestly.
Yeah. Red Velvet. She's just most likely going to retain here, and we'll see where it goes. Layla Hirsch, like you, Cam, I didn't even really know she was still here in AEW, but if she's doing stuff in Ring of Honor, I mean, good for her, I guess.
The next match we have obviously is the Sons of Texas, which consist of obviously Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, who are the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, and they are taking on the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch. Phil, who you taking?
I'll go with Dustin and Sammy here. I wouldn't actually mind if the Righteous won, because I think the Righteous are actually a really good tag team. I do. I like the Righteous, and I think they bring a lot to the table. It's a Texas Bull Rope match too, so that's interesting. But I'll just go with Dustin and Sammy. I think they'll retain.
Mike, who you got?
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with Sammy and Dustin. I mean, this is a Texas Bull Rope match. This is a Rhodes specialty. And Dustin being a Rhodes, it makes sense to have him and Sammy. I mean, this is a good spot. I want to say this really quick about Dustin and Sammy. This is a good spot for them. I mean, we don't see them on AEW television. They're not doing much. Sammy Guevara kind of lost traction in AEW. Dustin, he lost traction in AEW a long time ago. They're in the perfect position right now to being Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. At least they're doing something. And the Righteous, I mean, I'm looking at these guys. I don't know too much about them, but they look like a pretty young tag team that look like they might have a bright future ahead of them. Maybe World Tag Team Champions coming into 2025 at some point. But right now, Dustin and Sammy being tag team champions in Ring of Honor, they're doing something. It's better than nothing. I see them continuing their reign.
Yeah, as you said, Mike, this is a Rhodes special, the Texas Bull Rope match. So I think definitely, Dustin and Sammy have the advantage here. So I see them retaining the tag team titles. As far as the Righteous, yeah, they've been around a while. Before the unfortunate and tragic passing of one Bray Wyatt, they were rumored to be involved in the original plans for the Wyatt Six group. So yeah, they've been around a while, but yeah, they're a very interesting group. And they have a very good look, a very good aesthetic to them. But moving on to our next match, we have, for some odd reason, Jay Lethal versus QT Marshall. I'm gonna go first on this. I'm gonna say Jay Lethal, I guess. Mike, who we got in this match?
Yeah, I'll go Jay Lethal on this one. These are other guys, like I said, with Sammy and Dustin, where they're not doing too much on AEW television. Ring of Honor is a great place for them. Jay Lethal, I mean, he's a Ring of Honor mainstay. It would only be fitting to have him win at a Ring of Honor show, especially with it being their final pay-per-view of the year.
Phil?
Yeah, I got you. And it's QT Marshall, by the way. Say it right. I'm just joking around, but yeah, Jay Lethal got this here. I have no idea what this match entails, and I have no idea why this is even happening. But you know what, Jay Lethal getting a win on Ring of Honor Final Battle is good for him. And I love Jay Lethal. I just want to say that right now. I think Jay Lethal is absolutely fantastic, and I think he should be utilized a lot more. But he's in Ring of Honor right now doing his thing, so good for him. Jay Lethal gets the win.
Next match we have a survival of the fittest for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. We have Brian Cage, who is the reigning champion, taking on Willie Mack, Commander, Mark Davis, AR Fox, and Blake Christian. I think I would just go with Brian Cage to retain the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Phil, who you got?
I'm going with Brian. Yeah, Brian Cage retains. Like all these guys in this match, I do. But the survival of the fittest match, I haven't seen too many of those, so I really don't know what that kind of entails. But if it's kind of just like a gauntlet kind of situation, or that type of ordeal, then Brian Cage retaining kind of just makes a lot more sense to me.
So the Survival of the Fittest is a professional wrestling tournament held by Ring of Honor. The inaugural tournament took place in 2004, and with exceptions, has become an annual tradition in Ring of Honor since. It's basically what it's saying here is it's a tournament. I guess it's like a tournament that is supposed to be like a 6-way elimination tournament. So like they have brackets set up, and then whoever, like for example, Brian Cage faces somebody, he wins, he moves to the finals. AR Fox faces somebody, he wins, he moves to the finals. It's almost like a small mini tournament that takes place that brings you 6 guys into this match. That's what I'm getting from it. But I'm honestly going to go with AR Fox on this. I think he walks out as the new champion. I mean, AR Fox for a while was picking up steam in AEW. He went off TV. Brian Cage and Lance Archer, their steam kind of ended. That tag team went away.
Yeah.
Like, we were hopeful for that tag team, and then it was just like, you know what? These are 2 big guys. Hold on, we don't do big guy things. Fuck them. Gone. That was kind of a waste. But AR Fox, I mean, I'm going to go with AR Fox on this one, winning the championship.
Interesting. Then next, and this is probably my biggest match on this card, reason why I'm even tuning in at all, but we have Chris Jericho, the reigning Ring of Honor World Champion, taking on none other than Matt Cardona. As much as I would like to see it, I don't see Matt Cardona coming out of this match as the new Ring of Honor World Champion. I see Chris Jericho retaining the Ring of Honor World Championship. Mike, who are you taking?
So I'm going to say this, and this is my full-on opinion. I would love to see Matt Cardona win this as well. And the reason why is because Matt Cardona, he is the indie god. The indie god. He is always ready. And what I mean by saying those things is he could take the Ring of Honor World Championship and go all around the indie scene and try and catch traction for Ring of Honor. It would work out so well to put the championship on Cardona because of everywhere he goes. GCW, all the indies, on Ring of Honor, AEW, even TNA he shows up at sometimes. It would be fitting for him to win the Ring of Honor World title. But it's a company championship. Chris Jericho is going to end up walking out as champion just because he's an AEW mainstay. So, Jericho.
Phil?
Yeah, I got you. I honestly really love to see Matt Cardona win this thing too, but Mike said it best. You know, it's a company title. And Chris Jericho, he's just doing his thing right now as Ring of Honor World Champion. By the way, that video package that we saw on Dynamite tonight, that was shot great. That was shot beautifully. So I mean, whatever they're doing with Chris Jericho and this whole work thing, great. But yeah, Jericho retains. Did you Hey, what's up, Deontay? Did you talk about the Lee Moriarty match or?
He doesn't have an
Oh, I completely skipped that. Oh my goodness. So we have a Lee Moriarty. He doesn't have an opponent. It says to be decided. But it is a pure wrestling rules match for the ROH Pure Championship. So yes, I did not know about that.
Because we don't know who the opponent is, but that's also kind of a caveat to where if the opponent's, showing up, he can honestly win the thing. So who knows?
I'm going to pick TBD to win this match because TBD is always yet to be determined. And there's some determination behind TBD. I got a lot of hope in TBD.
Incredible wording. Yes.
I'm gonna just take Lee to retain. I would assume.
I love the championship though. That was like one of my favorite championships in Ring of Honor when I was like watching Ring of Honor like that. I just love what the Ring of Honor Pure title is. So
absolutely
watch for sure.
And then of course the last match on this card, we've got Athena, who is the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, taking on Billy Starks, putting her championship on the line. Phil, who you got?
I want to say Billy Stark so bad, but with Athena going over 2 years right now with this Ring of Honor Women's World Championship, I don't want to see it end. I don't. I'm gonna go with Athena, but if Billy Starks, if Athena put over Billy Starks in this whole entire situation, I would love it. I would, but I'll go with Athena.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Athena. I mean, wow. I mean, 2 years. I didn't even know that, but that's like Roman Reigns esque right there.
137 plus days.
Yeah, we're getting up there. So I don't think her reign ends here. Not at all. Mike, who you got?
I mean, again, we talked about this a lot. Is you have stars that come into AEW and they get pushed down to Ring of Honor because they very quickly die away on the mainstay TV. And like, for a question, where's Deonna Purrazzo? She was hot coming into AEW, and now it's like, where is she? Nowhere. Athena came in at the right spot because she comes in AEW. She lost a lot of traction very early, and then Ring of Honor comes out to light, and she goes to Ring of Honor, wins the women's world title down there, and since then has been champion. Billy Starks, I think, has a big opportunity to win this championship. It's the main event. As far as it stands right now, this is the main event of Final Battle. I think it would be fitting for Billy Starks to win the championship. I'm going Athena.
This is 2 years, really, because Athena won this championship back at Final Battle in 2022.
Yeah, December 10th.
And with Billy Starks, and this is the actual confirmed main event, because I saw an interview with Athena and Denise Salcedo. Shout out to Denise. She announced that this is the legit main event of the show, so this is going to be great for Billy to get that kind of platform with Athena, and it would be a great match to really end this thing on. Billy Starks and Athena have been linked together in Ring of Honor for a very long time. The only reason why I know that is because I have friends that really do actually watch the Ring of Honor product, and they watch both. They watch the Ring of Honor and the AEW product, and they really do kind of dig what they're doing right now, which is honestly the reason why I kind of know a lot with the whole championships and all that. But this would be a really good platform for Billy Starks if they really did want to, make a moment and make a star out of this. And it's just up to them if they really want to do it or not. But this is a match to watch for sure with all of this happening.
Absolutely. But of course, those are our Ring of Honor Final Battle predictions, which is happening, of course, this Friday. And then, gentlemen, that is all I got for you for, of course, AEW Dynamite and, of course, Ring of Honor Final Battle. We will get into our World's End preview and predictions next week, as that is coming up very soon. But now it is time to plug yourself. Phil, where can we find you?
TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, at @Fulimet_. You guys can also follow me on the YouTube platforms, OTB Outside the Brand on YouTube, and my personal channel, which is just Phil We Met. And yeah, you guys are going to want to tune in to 2025 because there are a lot of things in the work right now in terms of me just personally. I'm going to be getting my own space finally. And, when it comes down to that, content creation is really going to be a key factor of mine. And now that I'll have my own space to really just kind of hunker down and really just kind of solely focus on that content creation thing, it's going to be a lot better for me, and it's going to be a lot better for just the environment that I'm in as a whole. So 2025 is going to be a big year, not just for me, but for just the way that I've kind of, grown in terms of a content creator, and it's going to be a great time. So let's do it.
Absolutely. Keep up with everything that Phil Khan is obviously doing. And of course, outside the brand. Mike, where can we find you?
Oh, Summer making her Boom debut tonight. She wanted me to hold her. She was like, Dad, hold me. She has an Instagram, SummerPupper420. Go check it out. She really does. But no, you can find me Metal Mike 714 all across socials, X, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. That's where you can find me. As far as on the network here on the Boom with these gentlemen every Wednesday night, right after AEW Dynamite. Rivet City Red Zone every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with the Candyman Johnny H. We got a huge show this week. College football playoff starts on Saturday. If you watched AEW Dynamite, they were talking about it every like 5 minutes. So it should be drilled in your cranials now that the college football playoffs start on Saturday, kicking off with my team, Penn State. We are. Maybe talk about that, getting you ready for week 16 of the NFL and so much more. And then every Monday night with Cam on the table spot right after Monday Night Raw. But we are going to have a special start time this week. We're going to start around like 9 p.m. ish this week because we're doing a special show, not talking about Raw. We're done talking about Raw in 2024. So got a special show coming up starting at 9 p.m. this week.
Absolutely. Keep up with everything, obviously, that Metalcore Mike has got going on. And of course, the Table Spot, as he said, gearing up for our holiday editions of the Table Spot. But as far as me, you can find me right here every single Wednesday night with these two gentlemen, obviously talking about some AEW Dynamite right here with the Boom. And then, of course, right here on the network on River City Radio on Monday nights with the Table Spot with me and Metalcore Mike. And then, of course, on our sister page and Off the Top Media with me and Scowls. And sometimes you even see Mike. Sometimes you see Jamie, whoever may show up on there, you just don't know. Talking some Friday Night SmackDown on Friday Night Review. In terms of my socials, you can find me on TikTok at CallMeCamG, and of course, Cam's Wrestling Corner. And then you can find me on Twitter /X at CamandCheese317, and of course on Instagram at 317 Bacon, Eggs, and Cam. Love and appreciate all you guys coming out and checking out the Boom tonight. Love and appreciate you guys. Always follow these gentlemen right here. Got a lot of content coming out, of course, all the time. Very busy gentlemen, of course, as always. As I say at the end of every stream, love, peace, prosperity, and we are out.